boundaries are changing, and the main reason for that is so that each ward has a more fair share of Edmonton's population pie. As you can see, some wards have changed significantly, others have barely changed at all. Let's start in the what used to be Ward 1, Nakota-Eastka, now reaches a little farther east, closer to downtown, reaching the Glenora and North Glenora neighborhoods. What used to be Ward 2, Innernick, now reaches further northeast into the Castle Downs neighborhood, although it loses that Blatchford area to what used to be Ward 6. Tasta-Winniwak has seen the most change out of all these northern wards. It lost the Castle Downs neighborhood, but now it reaches a bit further south into the Killarney as well as the Baldwin neighborhoods. The only ward to not change at all, what used to be Ward 4, Dene. We saw a little bit of change in what used to be Ward 5, CP Winniwak, now reaches into the Meadowlark Park neighborhoods, West Meadowlark Park and Jasper Park neighborhoods. Where we see significant change, though, is right here in the central and eastern parts of Edmonton. Odeyaman now reaches into Blatchford. Of course, this used to be the downtown ward, the Métis ward as well. The lines completely differently changed, as well as the Old Papasteo ward. What used to be Ward 8 reaches into the Garneau University neighborhoods and the White Avenue area. We've also seen some significant change here in the southwest corner of the city. Pihé-Souin ward has gotten a little slimmer. Parts have now been taken in by the EP Kukeni ward, which no longer reaches as far north as it did. This is what used to be Ward 10, and then we've seen significant change over here in the southeast corner of the city. What used to be Wards 11 and 12 are now the Gario and Spomitapi wards, and as you can see, they're now divided north to south. Prior, they were more divided west to east. So we're going to be keeping an eye on four of these wards tonight very closely. One of them will be the Métis ward, where there's no incumbent running. You'd expect to see Tony Caterina here, but he's actually running in the Odeyaman ward. He felt that that ward would need a veteran presence. Scott McKean no longer seeking re-election, so he stepped off the ballot. So Tony Caterina, a three-time councillor with what used to be Ward 7, now taking a shot at the downtown ward, and that was something all the mayoral candidates thought was important, was having a strong councillor in downtown Edmonton to really drive the city's economic recovery coming out of this pandemic. The other ward we're going to need a new representative for is what used to be Ward 8, the Papasteo ward. Of course, Ben Henderson did not seek re-election. He decided to run with the federal Liberals and eventually losing to Conservative incumbent Tim Uppal in the riding of Edmonton Mill Woods. Another riding we'll be keeping an eye on tonight is the EP Kukeni-Piatski ward, what used to be Ward 10, held by Michael Walters. Of course, he was a two-term city councillor, decided to take some time off from being a councillor to spend more time with his family. And finally tonight, what used to be Ward 11, the Gario riding. This used to be Mike Nichols' old ward. Of course, he's taking his third shot at mayor, hoping third time's a charm after unsuccessfully running in 1998 and 2001, Aaron. That's right, Aaron. Don Iveson endorsed at least 5 candidates. One of them was a school board trustee, so we're going to focus on the 4 candidates he endorsed for city council. The first one that's really interesting to take a look at is in the Odeyaman ward, where he endorsed Ann Stevenson. Now, she is a former city planner. She was from about 2012 until 2019, and Don Iveson endorsed her as someone who has great leadership skills and great plans for affordable housing. Now, as you can see, she's up against Tony Caterina in that ward, so she has her work cut out for her, currently in 4th in that race. And our next race to keep an eye on here, this is John Zadek's current ward. He's been the councillor there since 2017. That's not who Don Iveson endorsed, though. Don Iveson endorsed Ahmed Ali, who is also currently in 4th right now. Of course, he's the City of Edmonton's former poet laureate, and Don Iveson said he was somebody who could really enrich city council. Finally tonight, or well, not finally, but in the Métis ward, we also have an endorsement from Don Iveson. He endorsed Ashley Salvador, and he was blunt with her endorsement, saying she's a woman who can get things done. As you can see right now, she's currently in a tie for first place with Corey Longo, so that endorsement could have worked out in her favor from Don Iveson. And finally, in another ward with no incumbent tonight, Karen Tang. This is her second time running. She has a health background, and she's running in the Gario ward, and as you can see, she's not even in the top 4 right now. Well, my apologies, we don't even have any results in that ward just yet. But these are the wards we'll be keeping an eye on tonight when it comes to Don Iveson's endorsements. 2 of them with current incumbents, including Tony Caterina, who he would have worked with a long time. That's right, Aaron. The first close race we're keeping an eye on right now is what used to be Ward 2. We'll talk about that in just a second in Innernick. But the EP Kukeni, okay, here we go. The ward, what used to be Ward 2, Innernick. As you can see, Erin Rutherford right now leading. She actually got an endorsement from NDP MLA Sarah Hoffman. So interesting to see that she is leading over two-time incumbent Bev Esslinger right now by about 300 votes or so, and it's really those two neck and neck at this point. The next one, what used to be Ward 10, EP Kukani Piazzi. As you can see, Jennifer Rice leading there, but Rihanna Hoyle right behind her, not too far off, maybe less than 150 votes away or so. And finally, the last tight race we're looking at, O'Dayaman, Scott McKean's former ward, the downtown ward, and Stevenson, as you can see, I think that check mark means, Aaron, that she is officially elected. So another Don Iveson endorsement getting elected for the first time in the O'Dayaman ward, defeating longtime councillor Tony Caterina. Really keeping an eye on is what used to be Ward 2, Innernick, in the northern part of the city. As you can see, Erin Rutherford, she's a well-known LGBTQ rights and youth advocate who had endorsements from NDP MLA Sarah Hoffman. As you can see, she's leading over two-time incumbent Bev Esslinger, who was elected there in 2013 and re-elected in 2017. She's behind by about 300 votes right now. The other ward we're keeping an eye on right now is the EP Kukani Piazzi ward right now, where there was no incumbent. Michael Walters stepped down after holding that ward for 2 terms, what used to be Ward 10. As you can see, Jennifer Rice has a lead right now by about, less than 200 votes or so. Spomitapi, here's another tight race. Mo Banga, the incumbent right now, trailing very far behind, looking unlikely that he's going to be re-elected. Instead, we have Joanne Wright, who is perhaps the only non-South Asian candidate to run in that ward, currently leading. And finally tonight, we're going to take a look at Tassawiniwak, what used to be Ward 3. Karen Principe, of course, we know her. She's married to a certain very well-known hockey panelist here in the city, and she has a surprising lead over John Zadig. Now, what's interesting in this race is Ahmed Ali had endorsements from both NDP MLA David Shepherd as well as Mayor Don Iveson. And right now, Ahmed Ali is the only candidate who is endorsed by Don Iveson who doesn't appear to be getting elected tonight, Aaron. So Don Iveson, 3 for 4 in his city council candidate endorsements.
Spomitapi, that one has just been called. So Joanne Wright, I hope you're going to get to that one.
It was on my list, Aaron.
Okay,
it was
good.
on my to-do list.
I didn't want to steal your thunder, but there it is.
Perhaps we can skip ahead to that one. I know we have one ward ahead of that one, the EP Kukani Piazzi, where we did not have an incumbent. This is formerly Ward 10, formerly held by Michael Walters for 2 terms. As you can see, a very tight race here. Only, is that 47 votes? Holy smokes, that's tight. All right, now let's get to it. Spomitapi over here in the southeast. As you can see, yes, Joanne Wright has been declared the winner over incumbent Mo Banga, who only placed 3rd in this race, so another new female city councillor. And we'll also take a look at Tassawiniwak, which currently incumbent John Zadig is currently losing. So that's an interesting one, losing right now to Karen Principe by about 1,300 votes or so. And finally, Innernick, what was Ward 2, Erin Rutherford still has a tight lead over incumbent Bev Esslinger, who has represented the ward the past 2 times. Erin right now has about a 300 vote lead ahead of Bev. So we're still keeping an eye on these tight races. It looks like we still have about 3 polls to go in this race, Aaron. That's right, Aaron. One we're going to take a look at. Last time we looked was only divided by about 47 votes. That was EP Kanku Piatski, used to be Ward 10 here down in the southwest corner of the city. As we can see, still a 47-point lead for Jennifer Rice. She's a former university professor up against Rihanna Hoyle, who's the former president of the Alberta Party. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong. I know this is your ward where you live, so you would know the candidates very well.
You know what? This is my ward, and so obviously as I'm watching these results come.
The other one we're keeping an eye on is what used to be Ward 2, Innernick, up here in the northern part of the city. As you can see, Erin Rutherford still has about a 308 vote lead over current incumbent Bev Esslinger. We're still waiting for these final results to roll in. We're just waiting on 3 polls in that riding, but it looks like it's going to be down to the wire between Erin Rutherford and Bev Esslinger. Erin Rutherford is an LGBTQ rights advocate as well as a youth advocate, and she had strong endorsements from NDP MLA Sarah Hoffman. So I'm curious to know if Sarah Hoffman's endorsement really pushed her above Bev Esslinger in this race, because as we know, Bev Esslinger is a 2-term city councillor, and as far as I knew, Aaron, she was very popular in that North Ward.
Very, very popular, and that has been